Surprise, surprise, it was Meghan Markle.
Prince Harry is refusing, it seems, to play along with Meghan Markle's games, and that's proven, especially for me, with this staged Dodgers video that has just been released.
It's the interview that dropped like a bombshell. For years, Prince Harry has stood by Meghan Markle through every storm imaginable. The royal chaos, the relentless tabloids, the endless drama that painted them as heroes one day and villains the next. But something shifted, and this time, it's different. In what's being called his rawest and most emotional moment yet, Harry finally broke his silence about what really went down behind those palace walls, and what Meghan actually did to him. And trust me, it's darker and more twisted than anyone ever guessed. The world has watched Harry's transformation in real time, from the cheeky, wild prince everyone adored to the quiet, tense figure we see today. But now, insiders say the fog has lifted. One royal source whispered to The Telegraph that Harry's finally connecting the dots: manipulation, isolation, and a masterclass in control disguised as love. He's realizing the truth piece by piece, the insider claimed, hinting that the fairy tale image the world saw was nothing like what really unfolded behind closed doors. But how did it all start? Let's rewind. It didn't happen overnight. It all began when Harry showed up at a private wellness summit in sunny California just last week. The event was supposed to be about men's mental health. Calm, uplifting, nothing controversial.
This wasn't necessarily her recollection.
Reputationally, for him, it was a massive turn-off.
But that piece shattered the moment a reporter asked a question that cut deep, one Harry clearly wasn't ready for. You could feel the tension shift in the room instantly. The question was simple, yet it changed everything. "Do you ever feel like you lost yourself in love?" the reporter asked. And the entire room froze. Harry's smile faded, his eyes darkened, and after a long, heavy pause, he let out a sigh that carried more emotion than any royal statement ever could. Then he said it, words that stunned everyone. "Yeah, there was a time I didn't recognize the man in the mirror anymore. I thought I was finding freedom, but sometimes freedom can look a lot like a cage." The crowd went dead silent. Those words hit like thunder. Freedom can look a lot like a cage. Within minutes, that single line exploded across social media. Every outlet, every blogger, every royal watcher was tearing it apart, word by word. Psychologists started analyzing it. Body language experts joined in. Even royal aides who swore they'd stay silent couldn't resist spilling to the press. One former staffer told the Daily Mail, "That's the closest he's ever come to admitting regret." And honestly, they might be right. Because now, whispers from people inside the Sussex circle say things have hit a boiling point. Behind the perfect photos and public smiles, tension has been building for months inside that Montecito mansion. Doors slammed, long nights, icy silence. This isn't the fairy tale anymore. Something has clearly broken, and Harry's starting to let the truth slip out, one painful sentence at a time. The cracks didn't just appear out of nowhere. They started spreading fast during the chaos of their crumbling Netflix empire.
So, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK, of course I do. And I think that it's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, my children my homeland.
Behind the scenes, insiders say Meghan was obsessed with keeping the cameras rolling. More documentaries, more deals, more spotlight, more luxury. But Harry, he wanted out. He wanted peace, quiet, a normal life. Something money or fame could never buy. One insider spilled, "He's exhausted from being the mouthpiece, the puppet husband who always agrees." That's brutal. They added that Harry's finally realizing how much of his life he's sacrificed trying to protect someone who maybe never wanted saving in the first place. That's the gut punch right there. The heartbreak nobody saw coming. For years, Harry saw himself as the hero, the knight in shining armor rescuing Meghan from the so-called cold, outdated royal machine. But now it's sinking in, slowly, painfully, quietly, that maybe he's the one who needed rescuing all along. The man who gave up his family, his home, his country, might be waking up to the truth that he traded peace for chaos and loyalty for illusion. And this realization didn't happen overnight. It's been creeping up on him, bit by bit, moment by moment. Especially now, as he looks around and sees what's changed. His family has moved on, his brother's thriving. The royal life he left behind doesn't seem so suffocating anymore, and that's what hurts most. Even King Charles, once known for his cold distance, has softened his stance lately. Insiders say he's focusing more on legacy and peace than on keeping old family feuds alive. But while the royal world slowly finds its balance again, Harry seems completely stuck. Not in London, not in LA, but trapped in a strange limbo of his own making. He's caught between two worlds, and neither feels like home anymore. And Meghan, according to one insider, she's not loosening her grip. She's tightening it. Everything goes through her, the source revealed. From which projects Harry accepts, to who he talks to the exact words he says in public. All of it's filtered. They said Meghan's biggest fear is Harry going off script, saying something real, something raw. And guess what? That's exactly what he did at that summit. No filters, no PR-approved lines, just truth. The fallout was instant. Within minutes of that clip spreading online, Meghan's team allegedly went into full panic mode. Calls were flying to PR firms, emails sent to friendly journalists. Even the summit organizers were contacted in a frenzy to clarify his remarks. But it was too late. The internet had already crowned it Harry's slip of truth, and the public couldn't get enough of it. Behind the scenes, reports say Meghan was furious. One insider claimed she immediately confronted Harry, accusing him of being reckless and feeding the tabloids. But this time, something was different. He didn't fold. For the first time in ages, Harry stood his ground. People close to the couple say he's finally pushing back after years of silence and scripted smiles. And when you start connecting the dots, his sudden quiet during joint interviews, his solo appearances at charity events, that more distant, reflective demeanor, it all points to one thing. Harry might be breaking free from the emotional chokehold that's kept him in line for so long.
I would like to look at a timeline of what's happened for Meghan, because over time she started off, and there was no question that she had, her values were about forwarding Meghan.
But hold up, it gets even messier, because right after that explosive remark, Harry reportedly stayed behind for a private talk with some attendees. And that's where, according to multiple witnesses, he dropped another bombshell. When someone asked him about his personal healing journey, Harry said, "Healing means telling the truth, even when it hurts people you love." Those words hit the room like lightning. You could almost feel the weight of it. The kind of truth that's not meant for the cameras, but slipped out anyway. It was raw, risky, and maybe the most honest thing Harry said in years. For those who followed Harry's journey, his words at that summit sounded like a confession wrapped in code. A man caught between loyalty and liberation. The tabloids pounced immediately, blasting headlines like "Harry's cryptic confession" and "Prince admits pain behind Meghan marriage." And this time, insiders say the speculation might actually be spot on. Sources close to the Sussex circle claim Harry's whole energy has changed lately. He's quieter, distant, more withdrawn. One of his old military buddies told the Mirror he used to be the guy cracking jokes, buying drinks for everyone, lighting up the room. Now, he just sits there, staring into his glass. It's like he's somewhere else completely. That image alone shook people. The once lively, confident prince reduced to silence and sadness. And if that wasn't heavy enough, that same friend said Harry dropped one of the most haunting lines yet. "Sometimes I miss being invisible." Let that sink in. The man who gave up royal life to find peace and privacy is now wishing he could vanish from the spotlight entirely. It's a heartbreaking twist. The prince who ran from the palace to escape the pressure, only to find himself trapped in a new kind of prison. Because here's the bitter truth. Sometimes the freedom you fight for ends up costing you everything. Harry's pursuit of freedom has become the very thing that trapped him. The luxury contracts, the Netflix deals, the global interviews, all those glossy projects that were supposed to give him purpose have turned into golden chains, glittering but heavy with guilt. And Meghan, insiders say she's watching him unravel, not with empathy, but with calculation. Her priority isn't fixing the marriage, it's saving the brand. She's terrified, one Hollywood insider revealed. If Harry keeps talking like this, the entire facade cracks. And once it cracks, it's over. That's the nightmare Meghan's fighting to avoid. But it might already be too late. Because this new version of Harry isn't just emotional. He's honest. He's no longer hiding behind rehearsed lines or polished PR moments. He's revealing the truth, piece by piece. Truth about control, identity, and the cost of love when it's tangled with fame and power. And the most chilling part? He's doing it publicly. Every word from his mouth feels like a man testing forbidden waters, daring to speak without permission for the first time in years. You can feel it, the defiance, the release, the quiet rebellion. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, Meghan's reaction said it all. The damage control calls, the frantic texts to her team, the eerie silence that followed. It's chaos behind the calm. Because once Harry started speaking, there was no stopping him. And what came next didn't just rattle their circle, it blew it wide open. If his quiet confession at the Wellness Summit shook Montecito, Meghan's reaction turned those tremors into a full-blown earthquake. The second those clips started trending, everything exploded. Within just a few hours, millions of views flooded in, and Montecito went into meltdown mode. Sources say Meghan completely lost it. Phones were ringing non-stop, PR teams were scrambling, and advisors were panicking like the palace was on fire. One insider even described the scene: Meghan pacing barefoot across the marble floor, phone clutched tight, voice sharp and trembling. "Get it taken down! I don't care how! Flag it, pull it, call the press team, do something!" she allegedly shouted, but it was already too late. Harry's haunting words, "Freedom can look a lot like a cage," had already gone viral. They were everywhere, echoing through timelines, plastered across headlines, and dissected by commentators worldwide. No polished statement or staged appearance could bury that kind of truth. For years, Meghan had controlled every move, every headline, every podcast appearance, every camera angle. Nothing went public without her approval. But this time, she'd lost the script, and it drove her absolutely mad. Insiders close to the couple say the confrontation happened the very moment Harry stepped back into their Montecito mansion. The tension was electric. Voices raised, doors closed, no staff allowed nearby.
With that picture of when they were at the softball and the kiss cam came on. And a lot of people have commented on this, but I want to comment on the specific technique. And the specific technique is misdirection and laughter.
One source called it the most explosive argument they've ever had. Meghan wasn't just angry, she was terrified, because for the first time, Harry wasn't echoing her words. He was speaking his own. She accused him of betrayal, pure and simple. One insider claimed Meghan lashed out, shouting that Harry had made her look manipulative, like a controlling wife straight out of a tabloid nightmare. "You ruined everything we built," she reportedly screamed. But for once, Harry didn't back down. He didn't apologize, didn't try to calm her down. He just looked her in the eye and said the 6 words that changed everything. "I didn't ruin anything. I just told the truth." Boom. That single sentence was like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. Meghan reportedly stormed off, slamming the door so hard it rattled the chandelier above their marble hallway. The silence that followed was deafening, but outside their mansion, the chaos had already erupted. Social media was on fire. Twitter threads, TikTok theories, YouTube breakdowns, all zeroing in on one thing: Harry's finally cracking, and the fairy tale is falling apart in real time. Even the British press, the same press Harry's been at war with for years, smelled blood. By morning, front pages were merciless. Headlines screamed, "Prince Harry's cryptic confession" and "Trouble in Paradise." Sussex fairy tale crumbling. For a man who walked away to protect his peace, the irony couldn't be louder. The truth he finally spoke had set the whole world ablaze, and Meghan couldn't control a single flame. Freedom or regret? That's the question haunting Prince Harry tonight. But for the first time in a long while, he didn't seem angry or defensive. According to one close friend, he actually looked relieved. "It's like he's finally letting the truth breathe again," the friend revealed. Like he's admitting to himself this isn't the life he imagined. Those who saw him said his whole demeanor had changed. Calm, quiet, almost free. But Meghan wasn't about to let that version of the story take over. Within hours, she launched a full-blown PR counterattack. Calls were made, emails fired off, headlines rearranged, the whole machine kicked into overdrive. She reached out to friendly journalists, commissioned exclusive insider pieces, and pulled every media favor she had left. The result? A blitz of carefully crafted stories flooding the internet within 48 hours. One magazine painted Harry as emotionally fragile and deeply misunderstood. Another spun the narrative that his words were taken out of context due to exhaustion from recent charity work. It was polished, precise, and completely transparent. But the public wasn't buying it for a second. The clips spoke for themselves, and people could see the truth written all over his face. The comments were brutal. "He looks miserable," one viewer wrote. "She's not protecting him anymore. She's protecting herself." Others chimed in, calling him a man trapped, saying his so-called freedom looked more like a gilded cage. And behind closed doors, things were even darker. Friends say Harry's become increasingly withdrawn, spending hours alone in the garden or just staring into the fireplace in silence. He's reportedly stopped taking calls from some of Meghan's Hollywood friends, quietly cutting ties with the glittery crowd that once defined their new life. One insider summed it up perfectly.
Ended and flanked
by
the
two
of us.
It's just surrounded by love.
He's realizing how isolated he's become. No family to lean on, no old friends left, and the only voice he's heard for years has been hers. That realization hit him like a tidal wave, because once the illusion starts to crack, once you begin to question what's real, you can't unsee it. And now, Harry's seeing everything with open eyes. And it might already be too late to turn back. According to multiple insiders, Harry has started quietly reaching out to people from his past. Old army mates, former palace aides, even a few childhood friends he'd cut off years ago. It's not about reconciliation just yet, they say. It's about remembering who he was before the noise, before the cameras, before the chaos, before the world started calling him half of the Sussex brand. One insider described it perfectly. He's trying to feel grounded again, to reconnect with the man he used to be. Meanwhile, Meghan was reportedly spiraling. Public opinion was shifting fast, and for the first time, sympathy was no longer on her side. The Netflix deals had stalled. Spotify had already pulled the plug. Brand offers were drying up. And now, the one constant she thought she could count on, Harry's unwavering loyalty, was starting to slip away. So she did what she does best, planned a counterattack. Insiders say Meghan began preparing a massive comeback, a glossy, high-profile magazine spread designed to set the record straight and recast herself as the misunderstood woman wronged by the media once again. The idea was classic Meghan. Frame it as another tale of misogyny, misrepresentation, and modern royalty under attack. But this time, it didn't land. Hollywood wasn't rushing to her defense. Former allies, fashion editors, talk show hosts, even A-list friends were staying quiet.
A royal expert has revealed why Prince William was correct to warn Prince Harry about his relationship with Meghan Markle.
The silence was deafening, and in that silence, Meghan reportedly began to unravel. One late night, a staff member overheard her on the phone, her voice breaking. "I gave up everything for him, everything. And now he's painting me like I'm the villain." But here's the twist. That wasn't what Harry was doing at all. He wasn't trying to destroy her reputation or turn the world against her. He was just telling the truth, a truth that, for the first time, didn't go through her approval. And that's what terrified her most. He wasn't trying to destroy anyone. He was trying to find himself. That same week, Harry quietly showed up at a private veterans gathering in Santa Barbara. No Meghan, no cameras, no PR team, just him, surrounded by the men and women who'd known him long before the chaos, before the documentaries, before California turned his life into a sunny illusion of freedom. Witnesses say Harry looked emotional, even tearful at moments. He spoke softly to a small group and said something that stunned everyone. "You don't realize how lost you are until someone takes the compass away. I thought I was doing the right thing. But somewhere along the line, I stopped being me." That single moment, that raw, painful confession, spread through the veteran community like wildfire. People who'd served with him said it was the first time in years he sounded like the old Harry, the real one. And here's where everything comes full circle. Just days later, a royal journalist dropped what can only be called the final truth bomb. Behind the scenes, Harry had been secretly working with a publisher on a deeply personal project, one not approved by Meghan, not coordinated by her team, and not filtered through any PR lens. It wasn't another memoir or glossy documentary. It was something real, something raw, a reflection of his true identity, his story, not theirs. Sources who've seen early drafts describe it as shockingly honest, emotional, painful, and unfiltered. In it, Harry explores love, loss, loyalty, and how fame can twist your sense of self beyond recognition. And for Meghan, that's the nightmare she never saw coming. Because this time, Harry isn't telling her story. He's finally telling his own. And that's the moment everything starts to crack. The brand, the fairy tale, the polished illusion. It's all slipping through her hands, piece by piece. And Harry? For the first time in years, he looks ready to let it fall. If you made it this far, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe for more explosive royal revelations, because this story is only getting started and the next chapter might just shake the palace walls again.